Okay.
It's on, running?
Yep.
Okay, if you want, actually I should say these guys, the big one for sure definitely really grabs your arm. So I would recommend the gloves. These are more for guys and these are more for girls, just as far as how wide they are.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you get some pictures of this?
Yes, and if you explain to me, I'll do the best I can.
Just here. It'll pretty much adjust. Just look in there. And press this.
Pause that button there. Okay. And it's already on the setting you want it on?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. So what we're going to do, because it's easiest with these guys, is I would sit in a chair.
Okay.
And,
Good. So there, also here.
and I'm going to pull out these cubs. Now, who wants, okay, there's one that's a little bigger than the other, so who wants to try a bigger cub? And you want to try a
I
bigger
guess
cub?
I'll be.
Okay, the only difference is how much milk I put in, because the bigger one eats a little more.
Okay.
Okay, so when I hand it to you, they're pretty much used to the right hand, but if you're used to your left hand, it won't matter, they'll adjust. So you just stick it in the hand you're used to, so it's kind of facing inward toward your palm. They're going to grab around your wrist, and then just make sure that this stays tilted up the whole time, because that prevents air from coming out while they're eating. So I'll take these caps off so we're all set to go, because the minute they're in the arms, they're going to look for it. I'll hand that to you. And I wait to tilt for just a minute until I have them out to you. Okay. Alright, come on out. Okay, this is big boy.
Are you coming up?
Almost. Now we'll see how she goes. She has days where she starts perfect and she has days I have to fine tune a little. No, you're not going to go help her.
Hello? Where you going? Where you going? Where you going? Where you going? You leaving me? Come here. There you go. There you go.
There you go. See, like that. It's okay, little girl. She
Am I
has
aiming
a
this
problem
right, you
starting. If she keeps up on it, I'll get her started and hand it back, because girls are just weird this year. I don't have a better way of putting it. Usually by this point in time, none of them have issue figuring out how to start. But this year, her especially. Yeah, okay, little girl. You gonna go right? You gonna go right? Okay.
She's not?
I'll start her here quick. Come on. Do a jump start, then I'm gonna hand it back. Because it's really there. No, you got milk over here.
Oh my goodness, you're too much.
Frosty. Okay, hang on. Frosty. Yeah? No? You weren't so weird. Or so greedy would be a better way of putting it. Trying for 2 bottles at the same time. Greedy. Okay. Go back to your camera. Alright, smile.
I'm gonna look at you.
There we go. We're doing. So once they get going, it's always the getting going part that's a little awkward. Now, you guys are currently feeding about 4.5-month-old cubs. It's probably just a little bit closer to the 4.5. You're okay. I just was fine tuning it a hair bit.
Yeah, she's
I know. And really, if you want, you can actually just stroke her with the back hand. She should do a pretty good job of holding on. As soon as they're done eating, I'll let you take off the gloves. It's when they're eating, you can see how they paw at you and stuff.
They grab, yeah.
Well, that's what they're used to when they're the mothers. Right?
Yeah, because usually with mom, she's got smaller nipples, so what they'll do is they'll sit like a cat and kind of knead, and it stimulates the milk to come out. But with these bottles, that doesn't stimulate anything, so.
How many cubs were born this year?
Only 4.
Oh,
It's
really?
the fewest that we've had, but we needed to do that for a reason. She always pulls it down. It makes it hard. It's okay. And the reason being is, out in the park, we have about 200 bears, adult bears, that are wandering around. And at first, we wanted to build up the population, but then they got really happy, and so they were having like 30 or more cubs each year. And then that goes out and it just keeps adding.
Yeah.
And we were trying to do birth control shots and stuff, but it just wasn't strong enough. It's not 100% on what it does. So what we had to do was we had to go ahead and spay a few of the bears. But we did it with their new method of doing it, tube ligation, which just means that you just cut off the tubes.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too bad of a process for them, and it didn't change their hormone levels or anything.
Yeah.
We have property upstate New York, and I got pictures. I have a camera there that I can remotely access from home where I do live.
That's
But we got pictures of a mother bear with three cubs walking around
How cool is that?
on our property.
We put we have trophy cameras too around, in the trees, so it gets any of them that move along. And she was around, and you get pictures of them running underneath her and stuff. So we try to keep the animals on our property so they don't get killed.
Yeah.
So we put corn out when we leave,
Mm-hmm.
and bread and apples and stuff
Because
like that.
we have 96 acres.
Yeah. That's quite a bit. And I mean, to have a mother bear go across and you get to see a cub, that is just too cool.
It is.
Because that's something you don't usually see in nature. Or if you do, it's the last thing we see in nature.
I mean, we've seen the bear more than once. Don't get me wrong, but that's the only time once we saw the mother with three cubs.
Wow. Yeah.
There were three.
And actually, the 2 or 3 cubs is very common for them to have. This year, you may notice that this one has a red collar and this one has a blue. When we pull them from their dens, each den gets a different color collar. So you can identify it first for us, how many came together and like which mom is having so many cubs. Well, this year, everybody only had 1. So we have 4 cubs, 4 moms.
Oh, wow.
So it was
That's
a
funny.
little odd because none of them were first-time moms. First-time moms usually have just the one.
Gotta get the nipples straight. She's bending it.
Oh, what they do too is they suck so hard it collapses the nipple. So then if she spontaneously does this, she starts spazzing, it's because it collapsed. And she's trying to force air back into it to make it pop out.
Do many people do this or want to do this? I'm just
There
curious.
are a lot of people that do want to do this. In fact, the last 2 years, so many have done it. We had to quit advertising for it. Because we used to, I'd stand out there in the pen and I would tell people all summer long that, we've got this private feeding, go ahead, go check it out and sign up and give us your number and all that. Well, then 2 years ago, we had so many people that they either changed plans or they wanted on so early. We filled up last year's wait list a whole year in advance, so we didn't do any advertising last year.
Yeah.
And then this year, honestly, with the people who came and already did the feedings and the people who had to change and be put on next year's list, it's already filled again, and we're already onto a reserve list.
Wow.
So
yeah, we've been trying to get you for like 2 years. And it's been rough to with our schedules to get here at this time.
yeah, and that's what happened with a lot of these other people. Soccer hit for some of the people, so they couldn't come because they had to go do that. And there were some people that they couldn't change their schedule because we got snowed out. And some of them were from Wyoming, which wasn't really far, but they got more snow than we did, and it closed more roads than it closed here, so they just couldn't get here.
Is this camera aimed down? I can't tell.
Yeah. Now you're relaxing, huh? You're not as hungry?
Yeah, the big one for sure will eat the bottle. I've never had her really not eat the bottle. The little girl, she's had times where she eats the whole thing, and then she has other days where almost, and then she just sort of starts to loll off.
He turns his eyes and looks at you.
Yeah, it's like, you're not taking it anywhere, right? I'm gonna keep this, right? And you may notice too, unlike a human infant, these guys really do eat upright, because when they're eating off of mom, they would really be laying on their stomach. But for us, it just isn't really the right angle to keep the bottle and feed them, so upright works just as well.
You're doing good. You're doing good.
Her claws are just really going to town over here.
She's relaxing more and more.
As soon as they really do start, yeah, she's finally getting some in her belly.
Yeah.
As soon as they really start to fill up their belly, they calm down. Before that, though, it's just gimme, gimme, gimme. These guys, though, they're only really going to be on milk for probably another 3 weeks, roughly. Probably the end of this week, we're going to quit with the bottle because they're drinking so much now, and they're going to be drinking it out of a dish.
He's done.
Alrighty. Nope, that's it for you, Foamy. Now, if he'll let you sit there,
She doesn't want any more.
She's done? Okay,
Yeah.
that's no biggie. Now, if they let you hold him for now, that's fine. If they get to be too wiggly, like he's kind of, I let him down for a little bit. Maybe he'll come back up after he kind of runs for a minute. And you can, now that you're done with feeding, it's up to you. If you want to keep the gloves, fine. But if you want to just touch their fur, you can take those off. While they're roaming around, for sure, you can pet them.
You smell like doggies?
In some ways, it was nicer, like the first few feedings we did, because they always had to sleep right after. Now it's like they have to kind of wear down a little first, and then, yeah. Oh, now you're not going to look up at me.
I like to climb.
I know.
And you can see that their claws really are built just for climbing trees.
Yeah.
That's their primary use. Of course, they work equally well as when we get them outside, they dig great holes. Yes, you do. You know, I see you every day. Why don't you go do that to them?
Oh, you smell? What do you smell? You smell, oh, you lick me. You smell like boys? You smell like boys?
And that's another thing too, where they say bear proofing and stuff. You don't actually bear proof the item. What they're really trying to reduce is the amount of smell. Like if you put your food in a container, the amount of smell that would come out of it. Because these guys have such an enormous sense of smell. It's at least 10 times greater than the average dog sense of smell. So that's quite a bit more than us. They can smell quite a ways away. And there's a person that my dad knows that lives up in Yellowstone, and her job is she basically puts the proof part, she puts the stamp on to say if it's bear proof or bear resistant and stuff. How they determine that is how long it takes the bear to get in it. Less than 30 seconds, it's not even bear resistant. If it's a minute or so, it's bear resistant. If it's over 3 minutes, it's bear proof. And it says an awful lot about their strength too, that bear proof is 3 minutes and it's open. You know, little dude. Hey, let go.
Where'd she go?
Oh, she's gonna climb stairs. No, she's gonna come. It's just like a toddler, you know, what's over here? What's that? What's this?
Where are they?
Actually,
Where are they kept like now?
right now, you're up at the gift shop and you probably saw across the way we have this ridge area and there's a bunch of empty pens and stuff. Well, on the other side of that ridge, we actually have a building that we call the Babyland building, and they're in there right now. And
You don't shut this off now?
currently, they are still small enough that they fit inside refrigerator boxes and stuff. So the appliance store, Carl's, that's in town here, they don't really have a use for those boxes once they have their merchandise out on the floor. So they give us the empty boxes, and we can use them on the cups. Hey, don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah, you can't